moving after hitting the bridge. Like, that's how much kinetic energy there is. Even after it hits the bridge, it continues moving forward. You can see. It's not even moving at full speed here. Are they going to go after the captain? Well, considering it seems to be a power issue, probably not. I mean, like, I don't know what the captain really could have done there. Oh, yeah, here you go. Okay, yeah, from an aerial shot. Look at that. There is not a bridge on Earth. Jesus Christ. There is not a bridge in the goddamn world. In the Biden press conference, they mentioned something about going after who might be liable. Well, it is possible that poor maintenance on the boat led to it having its power issues, but I can't imagine this being an issue with the crew. Anything that would cause a ship's power to go out like that doesn't seem to me like a moment-to-moment crew maintenance issue. That seems to me like a long-term problem. The ship had an accident before. Interesting. Well, that speaks even more to a chronic issue. So, I guess we'll see. Maybe skipped maintenance? The Dali was involved in at least one prior accident when it collided with a shipping pier. Oh, I get it. The Dali, because it makes a ruined mess of everything it touches. Nice. A 2016 incident occurs. The Dali was leaving port in Antwerp and struck a local pier made of stone, causing damage to the ship's stern. An investigation determined a mistake made by the ship's master and pilot was to blame. Probably unrelated. If this was a captain's issue, that's not the same as whatever caused the power to die. Now, if it is somehow the captain's fault, like the captain did something that led to the power issues on the ship, they are going to hang that guy. They're going to bring the death penalty back in Maryland so they can hang him in front of the state capitol building. They're going to roll a guillotine out. That motherfucker is getting put into the device. How many people on that bridge during, like, daytime? The key bridge. This is a huge bridge. This is a very, very used bridge. Thank God this happened during the night. Hundreds of people could have died if this had happened during prime time. It's so scary because it seems like for the most part this is literally just act of God stuff, you know? Like because like obviously something went wrong in a way that could be addressed, but you know, in like a moment to moment sense, this really just feels like act of God stuff, you know? Shouldn't blame go on the company as well. Until we know what's caused it, we can't really say. Guys, at the moment, for some reason, I can't check any Twitter links. The Twitter links just aren't opening on my goddamn computer. I assume this is Elon's fault somehow. I'm not entirely sure. It works on my phone. You'll have to do knitter. Elon nibbling wires again. This happened to me once, like 4 months ago for a few days. It was just an act of God. I don't know. Damages are not in the shipping company. They're on the owners of the cargo. That's centuries-old maritime law. I don't know. There's a barrier that can be installed. No, I don't think any barrier could have prevented this from happening. I know that the immediate desire when stuff like this happens is to say, like, oh, well, what about, like, if we only did this? But, like, there's just really nothing you can do to stop a ship of that size without having to build out, like, you know, the Maginot Line around every bridge, you know? The Twitter link note said, bridges aren't usually designed for a cargo ship to hit them. Yeah. Nothing is. The boat was too big. Where was it trying to go? Well, the power was falling out. The boat was, like, basically steering itself. If it had power issues, they should have had a tugboat pull it to where it could do maintenance. No, I think the ship was, like, steering itself. Because they had already given a warning. Like, obviously, if the issue is they can't control the boat, you cut power. But the fact that they were still moving makes me think that they weren't able to control the ship, right? Like, they were turning, you know, they were turning of their own accord there. I wonder if it would have been possible for them to just, like, throw anchor? They would have had to have done it earlier, though. Do ships like this even really have an anchor? Like, what anchor would you need to stop something of this size? I'm sure they tried that. Yeah. I feel like the only thing an anchor could really do would be to, like, keep you stopped once you're already stopped. But there's no way it could stop you when you're moving at this speed, right? Like, yeah, exactly. They're more. It's more like putting a parking brake on, where, like, once you're there, you just want to stay there, anchored to the ground. But if you're moving, like, it's not going to stop you from moving. It's not like Sea of Thieves where you like power drift.
Before I leave for North Carolina, which I'm going to do in a few minutes, I want to speak briefly about the terrible incident and accident that happened in Baltimore this morning. At about 1:30, a container ship struck the Francis Scott.
For some reason, Artemy is stopped in front of my computer and he's mesmerized by the light that I have on the RAM. He's just staring at it.
Key Bridge, which I've been over many, many times commuting from the state of Delaware, either on a train or by car. Been in Baltimore Harbor many times. And the bridge collapsed, sending several people and vehicles into the water, into the river. And multiple U.S. Coast Guard units, which are stationed very nearby, thank God, were immediately deployed along with local emergency personnel. And the Coast Guard is leading the response at the port, where representatives from the Federal Highway Administration, the FBI, the Department of Transportation, the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as Maryland officials and Baltimore Police and Fire, are all working together to coordinate an emergency response. Officials at the scene estimate 8 people were unaccounted for still, not still, were unaccounted for. That number might change. 2 have been rescued, 1 without injury, 1 in critical condition. And the search and rescue operation is continuing for all those remaining as we speak.
My Funko Pops.
I spoke with Governor Moore this morning, as well as the Mayor of Baltimore, the county executive, both United States senators and the congressman. And my Secretary of Transportation is on the scene. I told them we're going to send all the federal resources.
Why didn't they put barriers to subship? Look at the size of the ship relative to the size of the bridge. Again, just the kinetic energy involved in the movement of a ship of this size could, like, there's nothing that you could build to stop it. You know? You would need, like, sea mines. You would need to, like, make the surrounding of every bridge look like Normandy Beach circa, 43.
Resources they need as we respond to this emergency. And I mean all the federal resources. And we're going to rebuild that port together. Everything so far indicates that...
Like, remember how the Titanic was a really big ship, and then given the mass of the ship, like, it was able to be cut open by ice, even though ice isn't as hard as steel, okay? Like, this ship is huge. If it hit a concrete barrier, it would just vaporize the concrete. Like, it's so big. Build a second bridge in front as a buffer?
This was a terrible accident. At this time, we have no other indication, no other reason to believe there's any intentional act here. Personnel on board the ship were able to alert the Maryland Department of Transportation that they had lost control of their vessel, as you all know and reported. As a result, local authorities were able to close the bridge to traffic before the bridge was struck, which undoubtedly...
That's really good. That calling ahead probably saved, like, dozens of lives, you know?
Saved lives. And our prayers are with everyone involved in this terrible accident.
It really sucks there was still construction crew on there. Like, that's really though. Like, I actually, hold on, thinking about it, like, I feel like there should be an investigation into the decision-making that kept the construction crew from leaving. The threat was a ship crashing into it. It wasn't like... Like, it wasn't like, oh, civvies can't be here, but whatever. Like, why the f didn't they pull those guys out?
All the families, especially those waiting for the news of their loved one right now. I know every minute in that circumstance feels like a lifetime. You just...
To be fair, they only had like 2 minutes max. I think they had 4 minutes, but if I was doing construction in the middle of a bridge, and like, I was like, hey, listen, a ship is careening towards us, you can see the ship. Like, you can look over the side of the bridge and see this giant cargo ship with its lights flickering moving towards you. Like, I am Scooby-Doo cartoon running off the edge of the goddamn... I am zooping right out of there, you know?
Don't know. It's just terrible. We're incredibly grateful for the brave rescuers who immediately rushed to the scene, and to the people of Baltimore who want to say, we're with you. We're going to stay with you.
I'm dodge rolling.
And like
trying
Governor
to catch
said,
the hit in the
you're
iframes.
Maryland tough, you're Baltimore strong, and we're going to get through this together. And I promise we're not leaving. Here's what's happening now. The search and rescue operation is our top priority. Ship traffic in the Port of Baltimore has been suspended until further notice, and we'll need to clear that channel before the ship traffic can resume. The Army Corps of Engineers is on the spot and is going to help lead this effort to clear the channel. The Port of Baltimore is one of the nation's largest shipping hubs, and I've been there a number of times as a